Hello guys, it's Erica Hargaden here, certified child sleep consultant with my private practice Babog. I'm the creator of the Sleep series, which is a video-based online sleep program that I have put together around my 7 steps to better sleep, and I'm a mum of 3. So there's very little that I haven't seen on the sleep front with my own family, and I really like to bring that to the table when I'm helping you guys get to a better place with your sleep, with your kids. So I get lots of questions as to why you should use a baby sleeping bag as part of your baby's overall sleep. I am finding lately they are not being widely used, and it was something that came up for me in a good few consultations over the last couple of months, and something that I wanted to touch on and had kind of thought I would do it now. So what is it? A baby sleeping bag effectively is a wearable blanket, something that you are able to put your child inside. You maybe clip it up here, or you zip it up, and it's all around your baby while they're sleeping. So effectively, it's not something that can be kicked off. It stays on them. So a wearable blanket to try and keep them nice and comfortable. When should you use one? This is one I get asked quite a bit on DMs. When should you transition to a baby sleeping bag? So probably somewhere around 8 to 12 weeks. There's 2 reasons why I would say that age range. Number one, around 8 weeks is when I would recommend that you start looking at transitioning away from swaddling. And I do recommend that you swaddle your baby in those early couple of months. It really does help with sleep, and it helps keep that Moro reflex settled. So that reflex where your baby is just about to fall asleep and they jump. That's a reflex that they're born with. And the closer they get to 3 months, that starts to kind of settle itself out. So the guidelines would be to transition to a baby sleeping bag before your baby starts to roll, obviously, because if they're swaddled, there could be a lot of difficulty there. And also you'd be looking for when the Moro reflex is starting to maybe peter out, so that reflex of jumping. So they would be around the time, somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks. Certainly after 12 weeks would be the time that I would really be looking at transitioning to a baby sleeping bag. Now, why should you use one? So I'm actually going to give you 5 reasons why you should use a baby sleeping bag, and that's why I entitled this 5 reasons you should use one. Number one, it's safe. You guys will have seen that I'm quite passionate about safe sleep, and it's something that I really like to hone in on and I suppose explain why you should be doing certain things around a baby's sleep to keep them safe. And I do have another video there that you can check out. But one of the things that the AAP would recommend, that's the American Academy of Pediatrics, who are really the dons when it comes to safe sleep, is no loose bedding or blankets in a baby sleep environment. So I know in Ireland, where I am, our HSE, so our medical practitioners would okay the use of cellular blankets. I have never used a cellular blanket with a child in sleep. I have always used baby sleeping bags because they can't be kicked, they don't come off, they don't have that risk around, maybe your child getting entrapped in it, suffocation, any of those things. So you're ticking a huge safety box in terms of your child's sleep by using a baby sleeping bag, because it can't come up on your child. It stays where it is. And for me, that's a key reason to use one. The next one would be that, number 2, it keeps the temperature regulated. I often find with parents who are using blankets, they're afraid their child's going to be cold. So if you don't use blankets and you use a baby sleeping bag, you're keeping the temperature the same around your child. They're not going to kick the blankets off. So you're keeping the temperature regulated. And also there's different levels, togs of sleeping bags that you can use depending on the weather that you're experiencing at that time. So like I would recommend having a 1 tog sleeping bag for summertime and a 2.5 tog sleeping bag for the rest of the year in Ireland, where I am. Obviously, if you're in a country where it's kind of high temperatures all year round, a 1 tog sleeping bag is probably going to be fine for you. and it keeps your baby comfortable. Number 3, keeps them comfortable. If you are at the stage where you're still getting up during the night because baby requires feeding, then you're not kind of flitting around with kind of blankets and suits and things. You know, you lift them up, you're able to feed them, it keeps them nice and comfortable, they get nice and comfortable and snuggly, and they get transitioned back. It just is something that can keep a situation with a baby quite settled. I always get questions around like changing nappies with sleeping bags on. Literally unzip the bottom of them. Now, I would recommend, if your baby does need to still have a nappy change during the night, go with one that zips around the bottom and zips up the sides, and then we'll probably clip at the top. Now, if your baby is a little bit older, you could probably go with one that zips up the front, because you maybe aren't going to be doing a nappy change during the night. But it does tend to keep a situation a little bit more comfortable, keeps the baby a little bit more comfortable where there has to be interaction during the night, and just removes a step. It just can be a little bit easier for everyone all round. Number 4, it can prove to be a useful tool when it comes to the bedtime, a cue, something that is always present when it comes to sleep. That, you know, you go into the other room, you change their nappy, you put them into their sleeping bag, you sit into the chair, you read the stories, you have your little bit of time, and they get put into their sleep environment. It can just be a very useful part of the stepping stone, a recognition. Okay, here's my sleeping bag. I'm going to bed very soon. So it's something that I would recommend as part of a bedtime routine. I would recommend that you have a number of sleeping bags. Usually, you know, I would say to families to have 4 sleeping bags, you know, kind of 2 on the go and 2 in the press, because you're always going to have a night where there's going to be a vomit at some point, or somebody's sick, and or there's a leaky, you know, kind of nappy, and you might need one. So you just have them there spare for you to have. And the last, and certainly not the least, number 5, is all of those things lead into your baby potentially sleeping much better and potentially sleeping through the night because of the use of a baby sleeping bag. It keeps them comfortable. It'll keep their temperature around them a little bit more regulated, keeps them, you know, cozy and warm at the right temperature in their sleep environment. And all of those things can go a long way towards your baby sleeping through the night. It becomes a consistent part of their bedtime routine. So again, you're ticking a lot of consistency boxes, and those of you following me a while will know that I talk about consistency massively as part of, you know, trying to get on top of baby sleep. So if you're consistent, you have a greater chance of achieving your family sleep goals. So there it is in a nutshell. What a baby sleeping bag is, my reasons as to why you should start using one if your baby is of the age range where they can. I hope you found that useful. If you want to learn more about me, check out babogue.com. Thanks a mil.